Hello. If you've been fed this video, that means you must be a creative person because those are the people who get fed this video. Anyway, welcome to Liz Handcrafted. Today I'm going to be talking about crafting conundrums. What do I mean by that? I got a lot going on at one time and trying to figure out which one I'm going to work on sometimes is not easy. So I figured I would just share with you. This is the challenges that we face as a creative sometimes. And I know I'm not the only one. I'm absolutely positive I'm not the only one. I'm setting my keyboard down. So one of the things that I'm very much working on doing this year is getting better at live streams. Hence why I'm here, because I need to do it, to get better at it. This stuff doesn't come by osmosis, right? One of the things that I have to do here is do a better job. I need to, one, look up at the camera, which is usually, I'm really bad about that. Two, I needed to simplify my system because over at my desk, when last time I did a live stream, was not good. Not at all. Not a good idea the way I did it. See, here's the thing. I'm pretty decent at running the process, but to have to talk and be on camera added a whole new layer of oh my to it. And so I didn't do a very good job of that. I did share some stuff, but So that's what I'm doing, is I am looking at the different methods I can do this much, much easier to figure out how to do a better job for you guys. Because the whole point behind this channel is to get people to do the things that they've been wanting to do. And maybe they're putting it off. I do a lot. Even though I'm having a crafting conundrum does not mean I don't put things off. It might be prioritizing it a little bit though, because there is too many things on my plate right now. But so in the midst of talking through all of this, I'm going to warp up this rigid Heddle Loom over here. This is a Ashford 16 Samplet. And what I need to do is this. See, on my last live that I did, I started making this. I did tell you guys I was going to post how that all goes, right? Well, this is how it went. It's okay, but only okay. It's reasonably even. I can say that. I wish I could give you guys a top down, but I'll work on that. I'm working on the second camera. I'm just not there yet. You can see that's the back side because it's got the ends on it. It's super soft and snuggly, though. Super soft and snuggly. I'm sure I'm going to use this for something. It'll probably be something for mine because honestly, I've wove a couple of pillow top things, pillowcases. And the problem is I have 3 German Shepherds, and they get hurt very quickly. One of the things that I'm working on doing is, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, Jackie, she's telling me that they pile up. Absolutely, they do. The reality is because you feel like you got to start stuff and just to show the whole thing. But let me let you in on a little secret. There is no way, with the exception of very small things that nobody wants to see repetitively, that you can do a project in an amount of time that people like their videos. It doesn't happen. Most of my stuff is at least about 4 hours long, at the minimum. I wouldn't even know what to do if I had something less than 4 hours. It's usually closer to 4 days, which is why most videos are all choppy. And I don't do it that way intentionally. I'd rather show you all in real time. So I'm trying to do this is try to show you maybe the start of things. Do it live, maybe. I'm just trying things, y'all. And then post the results, or even make the rest of the stuff into a regular video. That's a thought. I don't know. Anyway, my intention here is I'm going to warp up, or at least get started warping this one. And what I'm going to do is I decided to take this a different direction entirely. Instead of having stripes, I'm going to do clasped weft. So it will have the gray, and then it'll have the color and the white being clasped together in the, well, it's like fingers. I'll call it fingers. And then the gray back on top. So it's going to just be two-sided. Instead of using the minky like I talked about, I'm going to do it that way. And hopefully this is going to work a little bit easier. I've got notes and so I can see the chat because I can't read that far. My computer's right over there. You guys are sitting right there next to me. I love you being right there. I do wish I could see you. It'd be easier. Anyway, though, so this is going to the side. I'm going to get going with this. This is my weft. These are my warp. So I'm doing the total black and the stripy. See that? Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm the back of my Heddle Loom and the peg. These are weft. So they go to the side for now. I just wanted to show you my colors. Anyway, I'm going to set those up to start working on this. But in the meantime, would y'all like to see? So I got this stack of my projects over here. Don't depress yourselves by doing this. Actually, it's exciting and depressing at the same time. It's exciting and depressing at the same time. Because I've got multiple things that I need to do that I want to start on pretty much right at the same time. Figures. But I will show you a couple of things that's going to be coming up because I am going to share those things with you. I'm just not sure what the timeline is. I have no idea. Never do, really. So I've got one. I just got this in. In fact, I didn't start the video until I got it in because this, my friend, is what started this weaving journey that I am on. Krokback. It's actually not back. It's Krokbragd. This is what actually started it because, and I don't know how to do it yet. That's why I bought a good book. This one's got a very, very high reviews because I've seen a few of them, different instructional books of some sort that honestly look like a kindergartner put them together. I'm not saying kindergartners can't put together books. I'm saying the artistry was not explanatory for the level I was looking for. Can we go there? Okay. So this is actually the thing that started me back into the crafting and the fiber arts and the doing the things because, believe it or not, I was actually up in my tack room. I have horses, by the way. I was up in my tack room and I figured out I needed a mohair cinch, but then I had to figure out how to create that. And I also figured out that I wanted to match my mohair tack set that I wanted to try to put together with the saddle pad. That's where this came in. And I figured out that I have a ways to learn before I can even step into that. Well, I've learned enough ways. Now I can step into this. So this will be coming down the line. Another thing coming up, here, this one is a quickie, is I need to make a new Bible cover. I don't dislike this one. My challenge here is that it's hardback. So this is buckskin. I very much like the buckskin feel, the buckskin aspect of it, and I did some embroidery on it. We're not talking about that. But I don't like hardback Bibles. I don't, because I want to be able to curve things. I like to curve. I don't like a hardback. So I'm literally taking a brand new Bible and I'm going to put a new cover on it and make it a nice soft leather Bible, leather cover. Mostly because guess what? I can. But I'll share that with you too because that one's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Here's a wild one I'm going to do. Check this out. This is my brainstorm. It is a luggage rack. What it does is it gives me the framework to make a carry handle, a carry thing. I now have, which is yet another thing I've got, by the way, that I'm working on, is I have a Kiwi 3 spinning wheel, an Ashford Kiwi 3. And I got the thing for the purpose of being able to travel. Well, travel, yes. I got the thing for the purpose of being able to go to the spinning class and it not be so dang difficult. The problem is the bags that they sell for that are a bit expensive. They're like $200. And they're not that great. They don't even have a support system in them, which I was really surprised to see that. And I saw that in a video for one of the ones that was being sold. So I looked at this. This is just a cheapy luggage carrier, but it's decent. There's nothing wrong with it. And it already has some of the holes. So my plan here is this. Check this out. Is I'm going to get a piece of plywood. I'm going to make me a case, a actual case, just like they would for the other ones. I've made multiple bags. It shouldn't be that big of a deal, but make me a case and attach it to this. So that way I actually have pretty much a built-in frame and I can wheel it as I need to. And the plus side is it already actually has some loops on it, so I can turn it into a backpack if I need to. So anyway, that's coming down the road as well. And I realize that a lot of people are not into all these things. But my whole point is just doing the thing that you feel like doing. Well, that's interesting. I'll figure that out later. Anyway, shall we get to warping? Warp speed ahead, right? Isn't that what they say? Yeah. Well, anyway, so that's what I'm up to, and which is a lot of things. That doesn't even count a couple of the other things that I've got going on. I really shouldn't talk about that. Anyway, but yeah, I'm also doing a DIY version of bulky yarn, bulky yarn, the kind that you use for finger knitting blankets. I'm doing a DIY of that because I had I've started the video and I haven't got it published yet. You guys will see it sooner or later. But I'm not entirely sure that it's even value added for what I'm trying to do. Let me know. I mean, tell me, am I the only one that goes through this? I know I'm not the only one that goes through this. I just happen to have so many things that I enjoy. I need to do this the other way. I know better. Okay, so I'm going to tie onto my back warping bar. And then just get this rolling. And go from there. I need to put this down on the other side. It does not work very well up there. So by the way, if you're not familiar with how rigid Heddle works, basically you have a back in place. This is called a direct warp. And you just basically stretch it out the length. My peg is over here. Hoping I can do this and still maintain over there. I think it might work. And you just keep on tying on, going through the slots. And then later on, I'll separate out my yarns and go through the holes. The challenge becomes you got to get it free. So my yarn is down on the floor. Anyway, like I said, part of what I'm trying to do here is, one, get more used to doing this. So there's that up there because I don't want to be stepping on it. But I know that I am not the only one that has so many things going on. And that doesn't even count the stuff that I got going on in life. Goodness gracious. Like right now we're in the middle of still trying to get the meltdown of 6 inches of snow and 3 inches of ice. So every time I step outside, I have to have cleats on my feet because I still have to feed animals and take care of that. Although I have to admit today was a little bit warmer. I think it got up to 38, 39. In other words, above freezing. So the ice is breaking down a smidge, which my very, very active younger dog is loving because everything for the past week has been nothing but an ice skating rink, and kind of dangerous to get the zoomies on. And so, and of course, me being a little bit older than, I'm not middle-aged anymore, really. And I have really bad knees. The Marine Corps just destroyed my knees. I need to remedy that at some point in time, but we'll see what happens there. Anyway, so the ice has not been my friend. I do love the snow. I'm from the Midwest, and I'm from Colorado, and I love the snow. It doesn't bother me, and it doesn't even really bother me with this now that I have got over the fact that we do get this ice levels. So I live in Maryland now, and so ice is what we're dealing with. And as we talk about chiseling our way through things, that's exactly. I mean, you literally have to chisel, because there was 3 inches of ice. You could walk on top of it because it would hold your weight. I don't know what the max on that was. I didn't ask. I mean, didn't try. It held my weight, and well, anyway, we're not going there, right? So I'm just continuing and putting each one of these in a slot. I'm going to warp the whole thing. I'm not doing just part of it because in the end of it, because the clasp weft will meet in the middle third of it, most likely. It really won't matter what my sides turn out like, because that'll all be in seam allowance. And the target size is somewhere between 12 and 18 inches in any direction. So it could be an 18. Well, no, it can't, because this is only 16 wide. And the biggest I can get off of a 16-inch loom is 14 inches. I don't think I've got anything bigger than that. So it is what it is. Okay, hopefully. Keep on going. Last time I did this, I tried to kind of blend the colors together and make it to where it kind of had a sort of ombre effect, which was really kind of silly because this warp is so much smaller than my weft. It was so weft dominant you couldn't see the warp anyway. And I should have known that, to be honest. Although I have to also be clear with myself in that I had not used my looms in a little while. But I am looking very forward to, and I also get to share with you guys that honesty of that as I'm learning the crookback. My intention for that is actually because the first thing I want to do is a rug. I want to do a rug for my room. So when I put my feet down, it's on something nice. But the rug is more manageable. So that way I can kind of figure out, it's a great way to learn patterns and stuff like that. But for the first time in absolute eons, I'm going to actually read a book and figure things out, not the hardest way possible by entirely just doing it. Now, oftentimes I really like to just do it. But so I am going to use the book, and I might figure out a small loom that I can just do like thread heddles. Have you ever seen that, where people just they tie the yarns to the specific threads to pull them up? Because from my understanding, from what research I have done on this, which has been actually quite a bit, is really you can do crookbragd. I hope I'm getting that right. I don't want to say the wrong thing on that. However, I probably am. But you can do it on a rigid Heddle loom. The challenge is that you've got to do. Let me see if I can show you real quick. So my 24 is what I want to do that on, which is basically this, just bigger. And because of the yarns I'm going to use, I think I would be doing that on the 5. I might be the 7.5. I'm not. That's part of the reason why I decided to just get the book, because the number of times that I have done a thing, got all the stuff that I thought I needed, and then been completely off my rocker as to what it was, and wasted so much money, has been a lot. So this time, because the materials are actually kind of expensive, they're not horrible, at least in perspective of the rest of the crafting stuff that I do. Seriously, because I mean that spinning wheel. I had to do some talking. Me and my husband had to come to some agreements before I could do that, and that was used. It was a good deal, but we weren't ready for that expense. However, it's something I truly want to have happen in my life. And to be honest with you, other than the fact that I love the feel and the change and creating something different that nobody else has. That's actually one of the biggest reasons I started weaving, is I wanted to create garments. I wanted to create clothes, tops, shirts that nobody else had. I guess maybe it's the anti-Walmart syndrome. I don't know. Either way, it's what it was. But I have got, here, I'll show you real quick. I know this had slipped right off camera real quick, but I'm sure I'll be right back. Check these out. I have got some top. Let's see if you can pick these up. Very, very pretty. I'm hoping the light's working for that. I have no idea. But I have got some roving and some fleece. Well, they're not fleeces. I think they're top. They're comb top, I think. I'm not real good at that stuff yet. I'm not one of those people that knows that stuff that well yet. So you'll have to forgive me on that. Am I at the center? I think I need to look. Yeah. Okay. I've got, shall I hit? Yeah, I need to tie off right there. So one of the reasons why I wanted to be able to get to where I could do a live over here, this is my work center, and most of my videos are actually based over here, is because of this is where all my stuff is. So as I was talking about things when I did my last live, I didn't have my stuff within reach. It was very annoying. And I know you guys don't know this because I cut it all off. Because you can edit in YouTube to some degree. I actually was talking and doing the live like 20 minutes before I actually was on live, because clearly I had too many things going in my brain cells and was unable to realize the technology. It still just absolutely aggravates me that I do this stuff weekly because I run the live for my church, and it still aggravates me that I didn't catch that. I should have known better. But I didn't, and it is what it is. So I'm changing over the yarn. This one is a 3x. It's three ply. In fact, I don't know if you can see this on camera very well, but there's 3 threads to it. It's about the same weight as the other one. It's just a fine ply, though. Anyway, I'm changing over, making half of it this, half of it the other. And although I'm now thinking about the fact that I don't know why, because you can't see the warp anyway, other than I got plenty of it and I might as well use it, kind of thing. That's as good a reason as any, right? So this is going to be fun because I think, one, I have enough room. I might even be able to do a test clasp, so that way, because there's plenty of room, I might even be able to do a test set for the clasped. Oh my goodness, I'll tell you, enunciating. But I might even be able to do that tad to get my technique, because you've got to loop those weft picks. That's the whole point. That's what clasped weft is looping those points. So, I don't know. I mean, this is probably like watching paint dry. I have no idea. It's a whole lot more fun to be crafting when somebody is crafting with you, when you're doing it yourself, or at least alongside, right? I know. But like I said, part of what I'm trying to do also is to get better and understand the technology, so that way as I go forth, I can feel comfortable doing it, or at least reasonable. So, because here's reality, y'all. When I do projects, nothing hardly ever that I do is something that's going to fit on the timeline of what is recommended and most people will watch for a video. It's gonna have to get chopped up. Now, I do think, though, that is one of the challenges that's kind of bummer about this kind of thing, is unless I run OBS in the background, I don't really have any means to not have it chopped up. Because, well, I have to figure out if the recording is good enough to implement into another video, which I might, or I might figure it out another way. I don't know, but what I'm trying to do, though, is share with you guys the stuff that I'm doing and creating along with the regular stuff. Plus, give you an opportunity to talk to me a little bit if you can. I mean, there is a chat. But I didn't advertise this one, so, because I've been trying to test, and I don't know. The last time I did this, I think I was actually just, I don't know, my mindset. I mean, you got to accept the things that they are. And sometimes that's harder to do than we think. So, because let's get real, mindset is huge. You know, I had to be able to accept the fact that the thing that I did on the live, my last live, wasn't up to par for what I wanted to be able to give for the pillow exchange. It was out of balance, not horribly, but it was out of balance. So, I mean, let's look at this thing real quick. So this is what I did on my last live, and I had told you guys that I was going to show you how it turned out. Well, it's not really finished at this chunk, but it's not a balanced coloration. This is too thin here, too thick here. Either way, it should have been better. And now my grays aren't horrible, but that's only because it's gray and black, so they kind of blend together anyway. So to the eye, it's not horrible. I'll definitely finish that out as a pillow cover, because it is very snuggly, which also tells me that this idea is going to be amazing and snuggly. But so as I continue to warp this one, I am realizing, yeah, I don't know why I'm using two colors. It's just going to absorb into the color scheme anyway. That's okay, though. I think the biggest reason I'm using two colors is I need to use them. And I don't know of anything else, to be honest, that I would be using this 3-ply for. Probably not. But anyway, the whole point behind, as I talk about my crafting conundrum, I have got, because we feel like we got to start a project to make a video, and so I'm really trying to figure out how I can use all factors of YouTube to help it put out my videos to different places. Because the only way that people are going to look at something and go, you know, maybe I could do that, maybe I could try that, because that is why I'm doing this. I want people to get their stuff out of their closet to go get the little pieces, you know, go look at Pinterest, Google, whatever, and decide to try. Because we need to try to create. Our brain needs to create. Our brain needs, and I'm not, and that's the thing is that I personally, because I've got a bunch of digital work to do as soon as I finish up here, that does not give me a balanced thought process. My brain doesn't do well, not at all, with just creating digitally. I have learned, I have multiple websites that I maintain for people, because that's what I kind of do more than any of it is digital creativity. But it doesn't help me manage mentally. Because let's get real, like when you do a website, even if you do an amazing, I've done some pretty cool ones. You only see one page at a time, and then it never fails. It's something doesn't link, and no matter how well you've done on the thing, all of it's wrong because one link didn't work. Because that's the nature of that. Because people are still people. So, and I am very much a person that does not like to make errors, and I really dislike it when I flub up something that's not my own. So I test and test and test. But that is why some of my stuff takes longer than it should necessarily, because I test and test and test. So, which is the reason why I'm doing this right now, is because one, it's my own. Two, I need to learn how, because I need to get better at it. And so I'm on my last slot on this Heddle. But because this is actually a project that I had absolutely zero ambition to do until I realized I can make something warm and snuggly that somebody could possibly enjoy. That's why I decided to do it, because I actually wasn't going to. What this is there's the guild that I'm a part of in Fredericksburg, Virginia. They're doing a pillow exchange, and I wasn't going to do it because it's difficult to I'm trying to tie this on. It's difficult to capture pictures of things that you're doing at the same time as participate. It's difficult for me to do that. Maybe other people can. I don't know. But hopefully I'll be able to do that. I mean, I'm just going to try to do it anyway, because I really want something that was going to be snuggly. And this turned out to be very snuggly. So that's why I'm doing it. Okay. So I'm done with that, and I will be bringing it onto the back beam. And then I'll post some pictures of how that rolls out and how it goes. Because this is actually due here in 2 weeks, so I'll probably, because I want to use this this loom, this 16-inch samplet for tablet weaving, which is yet another thing that I've been trying to get to do, is tablet weaving. So I built me a little rack for it, and I want to try to get to do that too. But I needed to use this loom to do it, but I needed it for this too, because I'm going to do some more research, because I want to get to that crookbragd. I want to get to that. So anyway, those were the notes that I had that I wanted to bring up. What if nothing else, that if you decide to watch this video, that you come out of it with, is I would love for you to go and get the thing that you enjoy doing, whatever that is, whether that's journaling, drawing. It doesn't have to be fiber arts. It could be wood. It could be leather, which, by the way, is coming down the road here soon too. In fact, next week, I'm thinking very seriously that I'm going to be redoing this whole thing. Well, you can't see much of it now, but I might post a video about how I do that as I do it. maybe, but that's like a real big disaster looking for a happening. So I don't know. But I want to start sharing leather work with you guys. So, because I did enjoy that and I haven't done it for a while, which will also be another journey type of video, because journey is a lot of what we do, right? We need to just go do the thing that we enjoy doing because our mind needs it. Our mind needs it. Our heart needs it. Okay? So I'm going to leave you with one message real quick. Go create something. Okay? You'll love it. You'll thank me later. Right? Right. All right. I'm out of here. We'll talk at you later. Go create something, y'all. Promise.